Hi, this is Royce with Viking Wax Press and the Alternative Football Network. This video is another in my series ranking the helmets of alt football leagues throughout the years. It's been a few months since my last helmet ranking video, so I'm excited to get back into the swing of it. Before I get into it, here's how my helmet rankings work. I rank helmets based on the following categories: personal taste, logo, color scheme, uniqueness, legibility, use of space, and contrast. Each helmet will be ranked from 1 to 10 in these categories with a maximum score of 70 possible. Tiebreakers will go to the team ranked highest in personal taste, then logo, and so on. Today I'll rank the helmets of the Indoor Football League. The IFL began play in 2009 and has had multiple teams come and go out of the league, so today I'm sticking to just the helmets of the 2025 teams, specifically the 14 primary helmets of the teams on their website, goifl.com. I'll start with the lowest ranked and move up from there. My least favorite IFL helmet belongs to the Northern Arizona Wranglers. The design is too small to make out what it is unless you're volunteering as a water boy and can see it up close and personal. For reference, here is the logo, showing a cowboy on a horse, but even the logo up close is jumbled and unclear. From a distance, it gets totally muddled. Only 19 out of 70 for the Wranglers. Too bad they couldn't have used the USFL's 1983 and 84 Arizona Wranglers helmets and uniforms. Those were much, much better. Next we have the Arizona Rattlers. The black-on-black logo design was a terrible choice. Their white alternate has far more contrast, and their copper alt is actually pretty awesome. Alas, I'm rating the helmets on their website, and this black shell gets 21 out of 70. The Tucson Sugar Skulls are almost as bad as far as contrast is concerned. If they would have gone with a bright red or yellow sombrero instead of the black one on this helmet, it would have a much different ranking. If I'm looking for something positive about it, I do like the crossed guitar necks in place of the crossbones on the logo. The Sugar Skulls also used a couple alternate helmets this season, a white shell, which really helps you see the logo, and a red shell, which adds a great pop of color, and you can still make out the logo pretty well. But the black primary helmet gets a disappointing 25 out of 70. Next up are the Green Bay Blizzard. Their primary helmet is a white and green logo on a white shell, so it gets very washed out, especially from a distance. I couldn't find an action photo of them playing in this helmet, but they used these which have a slightly different logo. Both the logo and number on the other side have a claw mark through them, which is a cool effect up close, but obscures the logo from a distance. That logo needs to be about twice as big. They actually used a dark green alternate this season with a Blizz logo on the side, and that one has better contrast. The helmet on the IFL website gets a 32 out of 70. The San Antonio Gunslingers came in slightly better. I've already reviewed this one when I ranked all the helmets the NAL had in their history. The white shell makes the helmet look unfinished, and frankly way too much like the Wranglers helmet. The logo itself is cool, pistols crossed and acting as a mask for the scowling gunslinger, who is a bit out of skill compared to the pistols. The barbed wire center stripe is great, but it's oversized compared to the logo. Unfortunately, this mask bandit idea is so overused, and the name is borrowed from the 80s USFL team, so the uniqueness rank takes a huge hit, 33 out of 70. The Bay Area Panthers are one of 4 Panthers teams I can think of off the top of my head. The Carolina Panthers, the Michigan Panthers, the Roslav Panthers of the ELF all share the same moniker and subtract from this helmet's uniqueness category. The logo is okay, but it's tiny compared to what it could be, and that hurts the legibility score. From a distance, it becomes a black smudge. Their alt black shell has terrible contrast, so I'm glad it's not the one I'm ranking today. The dark gold primary helmet gets 33 out of 70. The Vegas Nighthawks were an odd dilemma for me. The IFL website shows this red helmet with gold wings logo. Oddly enough, they haven't worn this one all season long, and there is 17 games in. Instead, they wore 3 other different versions. The sparkling gold shell was their top choice, and I agree with their choice, especially because it does a great job representing the glitz and glamour of Vegas. They also wore this black shell with great contrast, and it reflects the Vegas nightlife well. Not a fan of this white one that they wore. I wish they would have actually used the one I'm rating from the IFL site so I could see what it looks like in action. But from what I can see, it gets a 35 out of 70. The Quad City Steamwheelers have great contrast on this nice gold shell, but the boring stylized QC logo holds this one back. The cool double steam chimney center stripe increases the use of space category and brings some life to this otherwise boring design. They also used a white alt this season with wheelers on the side, but it's not as good as their primary. 36 out of 70 for the Steamwheelers. Finally, we get to a solid helmet with the Tulsa Oilers. Great contrast, good color scheme. The logo is good and the outline around it allows it to pop nicely, but the team name and logo are 100% borrowed from the Houston Oilers. The Tulsa Oilers also wore both a black and a white alternate this season, but the yellow shell primary is the best of them, and it gets a good score of 46 out of 70. The Jacksonville Sharks are another team I ranked in a previous video from when they were in the NAL. The unique bright red color on the shell helps give it good contrast and legibility, and a great logo brings motion, attitude, and speed. Uniqueness suffers a bit due to the name and theme being reused from the 1974 WFL Jacksonville Sharks team. The IFL Sharks also used a white alternate during this season. It has great contrast, but it's not as pretty. As a reminder of how my rating systems work, a score of 49 or higher is considered a quality design, averaging 7 or above in every category, and the Sharks reached that mark, scoring 49 out of 70. Fischer Freight are new to the IFL this year, and they came up with some nice branding. Every time I see the name, I think back to the 3 years I worked the graveyard shift in a grocery store and threw freight, basically pulling the cases off the truck, bringing them out to the sales floor, opening the cases, and then stacking the cans, boxes, bottles, and bags onto the shelves. All that to say, I immediately identify with the hard-working, blue-collar idea of trains hauling freight, and the personal taste category reflects that. They also use this gorgeous, almost iridescent blue shell and a nicely contrasting yellow logo. The logo is just an FF for Fischer's Freight, but at least it has a forward angle to provide momentum and arrows to provide direction. They used 2 different center stripes on the helmet this year. Both are good. There's this one that reminds me of the center stripe on the AFL's San Diego Fleet helmet, kind of a warning tape vibe. And then there's the train track center stripe, which is perfect for the freight train theme. They also used a white alternate this year, but it isn't as good as this beautiful primary shell, which gets a 53 out of 70. The San Diego Strike Force has a great name and theme to go with the military city they represent. Check out this awesome helmet, mimicking the painted nose of a World War II fighter plane. It has awesome contrast, an aggressive attitude, and it doesn't need a center stripe because the front view glares at you and grabs your attention. They also have a really cool army green alt, which holds the contrast and legibility surprisingly well. And they have a white alt that allows you to see the logo easily, but it loses the military aspect. The silver primary gets a 56 out of 70. The Iowa Barntormers are a franchise who've been around one league or another since 1995, jumping over to the IFL in 2015. You may even recognize Super Bowl quarterback Kurt Warner, shown here in his Barnstormers days from 95 through 97, before he worked his way to the NFL Europe's Amsterdam Admirals and eventually a spectacular career in the NFL. The cool thing about this image is it shows the Barnstormers against the Rattlers, a matchup still happening 30 years later. This black helmet is the current look for the Barnstormers and has that out-of-the-ordinary aviator goggles logo, which gives it a 10 in the use of space category. The front view is great, and it has a great sense of barnstorming speed and movement when it's in action. They also wore this tan alt this season, which is a throwback to the early days, and it's just as good in every way, maybe even better than the primary black helmet. The primary black helmet came in with a score of 58 out of 70. Barely ahead of the Barnstormers by tiebreaker are the Massachusetts Pirates. This blue just might be my favorite blue of any helmet shell out there. I also enjoy the way the designer used the pirate saber, knuckle guard, and feather plume to form the letter P. The gold highlights conjure pirate lore and make for a great helmet, my favorite of the IFL. 58 out of 70 for the Massachusetts Pirates. The Indoor Football League came through with only 3 helmets under 30 and 4 over 50. The top 2 helmets, Barnstormers and Pirates, are among my all-time favorites. Which IFL team is your favorite? Let me know in the comments. Check out my helmet ranking playlist to see how I ranked the helmets of over a dozen other football leagues. Follow my profile, Viking Wax Press, on X and Facebook, and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more football content. Also, visit the Alternative Football Network for some more of my articles I've done on the UFL. Thanks for watching. This is Royce with Viking Wax Press and the Alternative Football Network. God is good, y'all. Take care.